Earth looks quiet from where you are, but beneath you the planet is moving constantly. Right now, entire continents are drifting, mountains are rising, and rivers of molten rock are flowing through the dark, slow, silent, unstoppable. Tonight, we're going deep inside the Earth to explore the hidden engine that keeps our world alive. As you settle in and your breath slows, I want you to picture something simple: the ground beneath you and everything hidden under it. Just a few meters below your room lies a layer of earth older than every story ever told. And beneath that begins the true machinery of the planet. The crust you live on is astonishingly thin. If Earth were an apple, this crust, every mountain, forest, ocean, and city, would be no thicker than the apple's skin. It feels solid, permanent, reliable, but in reality, it floats on deeper layers of rock that never stop moving. The ground only seems still because it moves on a timescale far slower than we do. Beneath the crust, the mantle begins. A vast sea of glowing, softened rock flowing slowly in the dark, slow enough to look frozen, slow enough to be silent, but steady enough to carry continents across the Earth over millions of years. Every coastline, every mountain range, every valley, they exist because of this mantle never truly rests. The continents beneath you are not fixed. They drift at the speed your fingernails grow. A few centimeters each year, quiet and unbothered. Millions of years ago, all the continents were joined as a single giant landmass. Millions of years from now, they will come together again, forming a new world with new borders, new mountains, new oceans. Our home planet redraws itself in slow, patient strokes. Every mountain you've ever seen is the result of continents colliding. Land pushed upward inch by inch until it becomes impossible to ignore. And every deep ocean trench is a place where the Earth pulls downward, drawing the crust back into its molten heart. The surface of Earth is not a finished work. It is a canvas constantly rewritten, quietly, gently, in ways that we can only feel with patience. Think of the cities, the sidewalks, the towers, the lights. Just beneath them, pipes and tunnels fill the first 100 feet of ground. A little deeper, the signs of human life disappear. Machines stop. Stone begins. And deeper still, less than 3 miles beneath our feet, is a place no human has ever reached. A boundary between our familiar world and the unknown heat below. Tonight, you'll travel past that boundary. Downward, past the quiet crust, into the moving mantle, toward the deeper fire that keeps this world alive. Let your breath soften. Part 2 begins below. As we cross the invisible boundary where human drills and tunnels can no longer reach, the familiar crust fades behind us. Here, the temperature rises. The weight of the world above us presses in from every direction. This is where the mantle truly begins, not as a hollow space, not as an empty cavern, but as a vast, slow-moving ocean of rock. Not liquid like water, and not solid like the stone in your hand, but something in between, softened by heat, able to flow over long stretches of time. If you could watch the mantle with time sped up, thousands of years passing in a single heartbeat, you would see it move almost like a river. Hotter rock from deep below rises slowly upward, and cooler rock from above sinks gently down to take its place. This motion is called convection, the same process that stirs a pot of warm soup or sends currents through the air to create winds and weather. But here it is a rock that flows, rock that breathes, rock that quietly lifts continents and reshapes the face of the planet. Where does all this heat come from? Part of it is ancient, left over from the birth of the Earth 4 6 billion years ago, when our planet was a ball of molten rock. Part of it comes from within the atoms themselves, from radioactive elements slowly breaking down, releasing energy grain by grain, age by age. Together, these sources of heat keep the mantle moving, keep the crust shifting, and keep the world you know from ever truly becoming still. Even while you sleep, this ancient warmth, it is still rising. Deep in the mantle, there are places where hot rock collects into rising plumes, columns of warmth that pushes slowly upward for millions of years. When these plumes reach the crust, they spread out like ink in water, lifting the land above, cracking it, thinning it, sometimes breaking it open. Some mountains are built when continents collide, but others are lifted from below, raised gently by slow, powerful hands of heat. Some oceans are born where the crust is stretched apart, allowing new rock to rise and cool between two drifting plates. From above, we see only shorelines and waves. But from within, we can see the deep forces that make those shores exist at all. When magma rises from the mantle into the crust, it doesn't always erupt right away. Much of it gathers in vast underground chambers, pooling in the dark, building pressure as gases mix with molten rock. One day, that pressure may find a weakness, a crack, a fault, a narrow path to the surface. When it does, we see it as a volcano, sometimes gentle, spilling glowing rivers of lava that cool into new land. Sometimes explosive, sending ash and gas high into the sky, changing the air, the climate, and the lives of everything nearby. But from the planet's point of view, even the most violent eruption is simply one more breath in a long, slow cycle of renewal. Old rock melts, new rock forms, mountains rise, mountains are worn down, and the story begins again. Now and then, a plume of magma rises faster than usual, a violent elevator from deep within the earth. On its way up, it carries minerals that formed under crushing pressure and intense heat. Some of these minerals are carbon atoms locked together so tightly that they become diamonds. Most diamonds never reach the surface. They get trapped, buried again, or broken down. But a few survive the journey. They cool near the surface, waiting quietly in the rock, until one day we find them, cut them, and place them on a ring or a necklace. To us, they are decorations. To the earth, they are messages, tiny, shining samples from a world we cannot visit. The deeper we go, the more clearly we can see that the earth is a master of recycling. Old pieces of crust are pulled down into the mantle, heated, melted, and eventually returned to the surface as new rock. Mountains erode grain by grain, their dust carried by rivers to the sea, settling on the ocean floor as layers of sediment. Under pressure and time, these layers harden into new stone. Stone that may one day be pushed up again to form new mountains. Nothing here is wasted. Nothing here is truly lost. It only changes shape and waits. For now, we are still in the mantle. This slow, glowing ocean of rock that carries continents like rafts and feeds volcanoes with quiet fire. But beneath it, even deeper, lies something more extraordinary still. Not stone, not half-melted rock, but metal, molten, swirling, and powerful enough to create an invisible shield around the entire world. In part 3, we'll drift down toward that hidden sea of metal, the outer core, and discover how it protects you every moment of your life, even as you sleep. Let your breath soften again. We're going deeper soon. As we leave the mantle behind, the temperature climbs higher, and the pressure increases so greatly that stone can no longer exist in the form we know. Here, beneath nearly 3,000 kilometers of rock, we reach a world made not of stone, but of molten metal. This is the outer core, a vast, swirling ocean of liquid iron and nickel, hotter than any fire on the surface, yet so deep and distant that it has remained hidden from human eyes for all of history. No one has ever touched it. No one has ever seen it. But we know it exists because the Earth speaks through magnetism, and this is where that story begins. The outer core is unlike anything on the surface. It is a sea of metal so hot it would melt any rock instantly. Temperatures here range from 3,000 degrees Celsius to nearly 6,000 degrees Celsius, as hot as the surface of the sun. Under this unimaginable heat, iron behaves like liquid. It flows, it swirls, it churns in great circular currents, driven by differences in temperature and density. These currents are slow on the scale of moments, but powerful on the scale of centuries. If you could watch them from above, if time could be sped up 1,000-fold, the outer core would look like a giant cauldron of glowing metal, spinning and folding into itself in endless motion. This motion is the heartbeat of Earth's magnetic field. The Earth's magnetic field comes from a process called the geodynamo, a natural generator produced by moving liquid metal. As the outer core churns, electrons move with it, and moving charges create magnetic fields. Over millions of years, these swirling motions have built an invisible shield that surrounds the entire planet. It is because of this molten sea that our compasses find north. It is because of this metal ocean that the planet has poles at all. It is because of this inner dynamo that life on Earth is even possible. Without it, radiation from the sun would strip away our atmosphere, just as it did to Mars long ago. The existence of oceans, of air, of forests, of everything alive, depends on the silent, hidden engine far beneath your feet. The magnetic field created here extends tens of thousands of kilometers into space, forming a protective bubble called the magnetosphere. Solar wind, a stream of high-energy particles rushing continuously from the sun, would bombard the Earth relentlessly if not for this shield. Instead, most of these particles are deflected safely away, forced to curve around the planet like water around a stone. Some particles sneak in near the magnetic poles and collide with molecules in the atmosphere. When they do, they release light rippling sheets of green, red, and purple across the polar skies. This is the aurora, a living, shimmering portrait of the magnetic field at work. A reminder that even in the coldest darkness, the Earth is protecting you. The magnetic field is not only a shield for the planet, it is a guide for life. Many animals have learned to sense it, to feel its invisible lines and navigate by them with astonishing accuracy. Sea turtles, for example, carry tiny crystals of magnetite in their heads, a natural compass that lets them find their way across thousands of miles of open ocean. Migratory birds use magnetic patterns in the sky as if reading delicate maps drawn on the air. Whales follow magnetic corridors through deep, shifting seas. Even some sharks can detect electromagnetic signals that help them navigate through the murky depths. To them, the Earth's magnetic field is not abstract science. It is a language, a sense, a guide. It is part of life just as sight and sound are for us. The magnetic field is not fixed. Like everything else on Earth, it evolves. Every year, the magnetic poles drift. Sometimes slowly, sometimes with surprising speed. Over thousands of years, the entire field can weaken, tighten, shift, and even reverse. Yes, there have been times in Earth's history when north became south, and south became north. These reversals do not happen suddenly. They unfold over thousands of years, too slow for any one person to notice. But they remind us that Earth is not static. It is alive in ways we can only understand by listening closely. But beneath the outer core lies something even more extraordinary. A solid sphere of iron and nickel compressed so tightly that even at 6,000 degrees Celsius, it cannot melt. This is the inner core, a ball of metal as wide as the moon, yet hidden beneath 3,000 kilometers of rock and fire. The deeper we go, the stronger the pressure becomes. Imagine the weight of continents pressing inward from every direction. A force 4 million times greater than the pressure at Earth's surface. Under these conditions, metal becomes solid even at sun-like temperatures. The inner core is both impossibly hot and impossibly strong. It is the anchor of the entire planet. The inner core radiates heat into the outer core, driving the circulation of molten metal and powering the magnetic field. It acts as a stabilizer, helping keep Earth's rotation steady. Without it, days and nights would drift unpredictably. The planet's orientation would wobble. Climate patterns would collapse. In a quiet, hidden way, the inner core keeps Earth steady as it drifts through space. It is a heart that beats without sound, a furnace that never cools, a light that never shines yet touches every part of your life. Here, at the edge of the inner core, we pause. You are now deeper than any human has ever imagined traveling. Deeper than mountains, deeper than oceans, deeper than myth or memory. You are in the realm where Earth's heartbeat begins, where warmth rises, where magnetism is born, where the planet renews itself from the inside out. In Part 4, we will step into the inner core and discover the place where Earth's ancient fire first came to life. For now, let your breath soften into the slow rhythm of the planet. We will continue soon. As we leave the swirling molten sea of the outer core, the temperature continues to rise, intense, bright, overwhelming. But something unexpected happens. Instead of melting, the material ahead becomes solid. The pressure is so immense here, so crushing from every direction, that even at 6,000 degrees Celsius, iron can no longer remain liquid. We have reached Earth's inner core, the deepest, hottest, most hidden place on the entire planet. A solid sphere of metal, shining with ancient heat, locked beneath layers of stone and fire. The inner core is enormous, roughly 1,220 kilometers in radius, about the size of the moon. Imagine a metal world floating inside our world, a sphere of iron and nickel compressed to unimaginable density. Every drop of metal here is squeezed tighter than anything found on the surface. Atoms are pressed so closely together they cannot move freely, creating a solid core that anchors the entire planet. This is not the fiery chaos of lava, nor the flowing metal of the outer core. This is a realm of pure pressure, a fortress built from heat and force. The inner core is a memory of Earth's birth. More than 4 billion years ago, our planet was molten throughout, a glowing sphere of fire still recovering from constant collisions with cosmic debris. As Earth cooled, the outer layers solidified, but the deepest center remained hot, too hot to freeze. This original heat is still trapped here today. Added to that is heat from radioactive decay. Tiny particles inside atoms breaking apart and releasing energy over millions of years. Together, these sources of warmth keep the inner core glowing like an unseen star beneath our feet. The inner core is hotter than any furnace on the surface, hotter than lava, hotter than most stars' outer layers. And yet, it is solid. This is because the pressure at the planet's center is so extreme that atoms cannot break apart. They are held in place despite the heat, locked together in a rigid crystalline structure. Here, iron behaves like stone even though its temperature matches that of the sun. If the inner core were not under such pressure, it would melt instantly. but it is trapped under thousands of kilometers of rock, enduring a weight so great that it forces the metal to remain solid against all logic. This paradox, hotter than fire, stronger than steel, is the essence of the inner core. The inner core is not static. It is slowly growing. Every year, a thin layer of molten metal from the outer core cools and freezes onto its surface. This process is incredibly slow, just fractions of a millimeter per year. But over millions of years, it matters. As the inner core grows, the outer core shrinks slightly, and this freezing of metal releases heat into the fluid layer above, helping drive the currents that generate the magnetic field. In a way, the inner core feeds the outer core, giving it energy to keep the magnetic shield alive. It is a quiet partnership, a hidden cooperation that maintains the planet we depend on. One of the most mysterious discoveries is that the inner core spins at a slightly different speed than the rest of Earth. Sometimes faster, sometimes slower, sometimes almost in sync. Scientists call this differential rotation. Imagine a heart that beats on its own rhythm, not separate from the body, but not perfectly aligned either. This independent motion affects the magnetic field, the flow of metal in the outer core, and may even influence tiny variations in Earth's rotation. Deep inside the darkness, the inner core turns, slowly, steadily, a hidden world moving to its own quiet music. The inner core acts like a stabilizing weight for the entire planet. Without it, the Earth would wobble more, its axis shifting unpredictably. Seasons would drift, climate patterns would break, day and night would lose their regular rhythm. Because of the inner core, Earth spins smoothly like a balanced top. We do not feel the stability consciously, but every moment of life, every sunrise, every tide, every weather pattern depends on it. The inner core is the world's silent counterweight, keeping the planet steady as it sails through space. Most of the time, you never think about the inner core. You never feel its heat or hear its movement, but its influence reaches all the way to the surface. It powers the magnetic field that protects your body from charged particles from the sun, keeps the atmosphere from being stripped away. It makes compasses possible. It gives migratory animals their internal GPS. Everything from the aurora to the direction of ocean currents is connected to the fire at the center of the world. Even as you sleep tonight, the inner core is working for you. The inner core is the only place inside Earth that does not flow. The crust moves in plates. The mantle churns slowly. The outer core boils with metal currents. But the inner core remains solid, still anchored. It is the quietest part of the entire Earth, and yet the most essential. It is the one solid point in a world built on motion. A single unmoving center holding together a planet that never stops changing. Now imagine yourself standing here, at the center of the world. Around you, a sphere of metal glows softly under crushing pressure. There is no sound, no wind, no air, only heat and stillness and the ancient memory of how this planet began. You are deeper than any mountain's root, deeper than any ocean trench, closer to Earth's core than any human dream has reached. This is the place where the planet breathes its slowest, its deepest, it's the most powerful breath, the heart of the Earth. In Part 5, we will rise again, returning from the inner core back toward the mantle and the crust above. We will see how heat travels upward, how mountains are built, how earthquakes occur, and how every landscape on Earth it is shaped by the fire below. For now, let your breath settle. The journey upward begins soon. We begin our slow ascent, leaving behind the brilliant stillness of the inner core. As we rise, the pressure decreases molecule by molecule. but the heat remains ancient, radiating through the layers above. We are rising through the deepest memories of the planet's formation, moving from the heart of Earth back toward the world of air, water, and life. Every meter upward tells a different chapter of Earth's story. The molten ocean of the outer core returns around us. The metal here, it is in constant, boiling motion. It circulates in spiraling streams, driving electric currents that creates the magnetic field protecting your body from the solar wind. Now, as we rise through it again, we can see from above what was hidden before. This ocean is not chaotic. It moves with structure, spirals, rings, slow pulses of energy drifting like storms in a metallic atmosphere. Each of these moving currents is a thread in Earth's magnetic tapestry. Together, they form the shield that has allowed life to exist for billions of years. The outer core is chaos made purposeful, a storm that protects the surface from a harsher universe. As we rise into the mantle, the molten metal fades and stone returns. But this stone is not the solid rock we know. It flows slowly, quietly, endlessly. It moves in vast convection cycles. Hot rock rising, cooler rock sinking. This is Earth's deepest engine of change. Not violent, not loud, but persistent. Moving continents one breath of heat at a time. If you could speed up time to millions of times faster, the mantle would look like a glowing, swirling ocean beneath the crust. This flow is what breaks continents apart, creates mountain ranges, opens new oceans, and closes old ones. The mantle is the painter of the world you walk on, and it has been painting for 4.5 billion years. Millions of years ago, all continents were connected as one. They breathed together. They moved together. They cracked apart together. Today, these drifting pieces of rock continue to move quietly at the speed your fingernails grow. The Atlantic Ocean widens a few centimeters every year. The Pacific shrinks. India rams into Asia and pushes the Himalayas higher. 5 millimeters each year, a breath in the life of a mountain. These motions, they are guided by the mantle currents below and shaped by heat rising from Earth's center. Continents, in truth, are sleeping giants riding on rivers of stone. As we rise closer to the crust, we reach the boundaries where tectonic plates meet. These places are Earth's fault lines, the edges where plates grind, collide, overlap, and transform. Here, the planet speaks aloud. Earthquakes begin at these borders, sometimes tiny tremors that only instruments can feel, sometimes violent ruptures that reshape coastlines in a matter of minutes. Most earthquakes are caused by motion as small as a few centimeters. A shift the width of your thumb can release energy equal to hundreds of nuclear bombs. These small motions remind us that the ground beneath our feet, it is never truly still. When two continents collide, the crust is forced upward. Stone bends, stone folds, stone breaks. Over millions of years, these distortions rise into colossal mountain ranges. The Himalayas, the Andes, the Alps, the Rockies, all born from collisions so slow they seem invisible. Every mountain is the result of continents meeting with the patience of the planet itself. Even now, the Himalayas grow by millimeters each year, reaching for the sky inch by inch, century by century. Mountains are poems written in stone by the hands of time. Some borders do not create mountains, they create volcanoes. When the old crust sinks back into the mantle, it melts, rises, and builds pressure in underground chambers. Eventually, the pressure finds a weakness, a channel to the surface, and a volcano is born. Some volcanoes spill slow, glowing rivers that forms a new land as they cool. Others erupt violently, sending ash into the sky, altering climates, and reshaping landscapes. But volcanoes, they are not simply destructive. They are Earth's way of releasing pressure and renewing its crust. Volcanoes are the breath of the mantle made visible. As we rise toward the crust, we pass regions where water moves through stone. There are underground rivers miles beneath the surface, vast aquifers containing more fresh water than all the lakes and rivers above. Some of these waters have been trapped for millions of years, ancient rain locked beneath layers of rock. These underground seas sustain cities, feed ecosystems, and shape the land by carving tunnels and hollow chambers that one day may collapse into sinkholes. Water is not only a surface phenomenon. It is woven through the planet in ways rarely seen. At last, we rise into the crust, the thin, fragile shell on which all life exists. If Earth were an apple, this crust would be no thicker than the apple's skin. Yet everything we know, mountains, oceans, deserts, forests, cities, animals, and every molecule of air we breathe, exists within this delicate sliver. Beneath it lies a world of fire. Above it lies a universe of stars. The crust, it is the bridge between them. A thin, breathing boundary between light and heat, between cosmos and core. As we rise back toward the surface, we see the Earth differently. Nothing here is permanent. Not mountains, not continents, not oceans, not even the magnetic poles guiding birds and compasses. The Earth is alive with shifting, flowing, endlessly cycling motion. Stone moves like water. Water carves stone. Fire rebuilds land. Wind changes oceans. Ice shapes mountains. Everything on Earth is in conversation with everything below it. You are living on a breathing world, a world whose deepest fires shape your every sunrise. In Part 6, we will finally return to the world above, to the landscapes shaped by everything we have seen below. We will explore how mountains form weather, how oceans carry heat, how the crust supports life, and how humans fit into this vast, living system. For now, let your breath soften as we approach the surface. The journey continues. As we rise from the deep interior, the pressure falls, the temperature cools, and the world shifts once more. We leave behind molten stone and metal, rising into the realm where solid rock forms continents, where ocean basins cradle water, and where sunlight finally reaches the surface. The world above is shaped by everything below, yet lived in by everything on top. It is here that the forces of Earth meet the gentle needs of life. The surface of Earth is astonishingly thin, a fragile crust resting above a world of fire. And yet, this thin layer contains every chapter of life, every human history, every breath ever taken by every creature that has lived. It is only a sliver, but an important one, a meeting place between rock, water, and air. This intersection, this is where life began, where oceans formed, where continents cooled, where the first single-celled organisms took their first chemical steps toward existence. The surface is the planet's memory written in stone, water, and wind. Water arrived early on Earth, brought by icy comets, volcanoes, and chemical reactions deep within the crust. Once oceans formed, they transformed everything. Water shaped continents grain by grain. It carved canyons, smoothed mountains, and transported minerals to the sea. Every river is a sculptor. Every ocean wave is a chisel. Every raindrop carries the memory of a cloud that drifted thousands of kilometers. Water is not passive. It is the patient architect of the world. Oceans are not just water, they are engines of heat and motion. Sunlight warms the equator, cold winds chill the poles, and the ocean responds with currents that move like arteries. The Gulf Stream carries warm water from the Caribbean across the Atlantic to Europe, making winters milder than they would be otherwise. Deep beneath the waves, cold currents sink, creating global conveyor belts that take centuries to complete one circuit. These currents shape climates, bring nutrients to life, and regulate the breath of the planet. The ocean, it is the Earth's largest lung. Above the oceans lies another miracle, the atmosphere. A thin blanket compared to the size of Earth, yet essential for life. It holds warmth, carries clouds, filters sunlight, and creates winds that distribute heat around the planet. Without this atmosphere, Earth would be frozen at night and scorched by day. But with it, planet Earth has weather, a dance between warm and cold, high and low pressure, land and sea. The air is the world's breath, inhaled and exhaled by forests, oceans, and every living being. Clouds are born from water vapor rising into the sky. They form shapes that shift from moment to moment. Mountains of vapor, rivers of mist, sheets of white drifting over blue seas. Some clouds carry rain. Some carry lightning. Some carry snow that feeds rivers for thousands of miles. A single cloud can hold millions of liters of water yet float effortlessly on the air. Clouds are the poetry of the sky, expressions of Earth's changing moods. Wind begins when the sun warms the Earth unevenly. Warm air rises, cool air sinks. The cycle begins again. Across deserts, winds sculpt dunes. Across oceans, they create waves that travel thousands of kilometers. Jet streams, narrow rivers of fast-moving air high above the surface, circle the globe and influence storms, rain, and the paths of airplanes. Wind seems invisible, but its influence is everywhere. It guides birds. It shapes climates. It whispers across forests and roars across mountaintops. Wind, it is the pulse of the atmosphere. Every drop of rain begins with evaporation, water rising from the ocean, river, or leaf. In the sky, it cools, condenses, and returns to Earth. Rain brings life to forests, deserts, and plains. It nourishes roots, feeds rivers, and shapes landscapes as it returns downhill to the sea. Rain is the voice of the planet's cycle, soft or thunderous, gentle or intense. And because of this cycle, water on Earth is not lost. It only travels. Every drop you touch has existed for billions of years, shaped by ancient seas and the breath of the sky. In the coldest places, the poles, the mountaintops, and the shadows of deep valleys, water becomes ice. Ice shapes landscapes as powerfully as rivers do. Glaciers carve valleys, dragging rock behind them like colossal blades. During the last ice age, huge sheets of ice covered much of the planet, pressing down the crust and sculpting the continents. Even today, ice reflects sunlight, helps cool the planet, and holds memories of ancient climates inside tiny bubbles trapped for millennia. Ice is history preserved in crystal. Earth's climate, it is not controlled by a single system. It is a vast balancing act between sunlight, ocean currents, winds, ice, and the tilt of the Earth itself. The amount of sunlight that reaches our planet changes slowly over tens of thousands of years. These cycles help trigger ice ages and warm periods. Volcanic eruptions can cool the planet by filling the atmosphere with reflective ash. And the movement of continents changes the flow of oceans, redirecting heat and altering rain patterns. Climate is Earth's long story, always changing, always responding to forces above and below. On this thin crust, between ocean and sky, life emerged. From single-celled organisms floating in ancient seas, to plants that filled the air with oxygen, to animals that walked and swam and flew. Life adapted to shifting climates, moving continents, rising mountains, and falling seas. Each species is shaped by Earth's slow rhythms. Birds that migrate follow winds and magnetic fields. Trees grow rings based on rainfall and temperature. Coral reefs record ocean chemistry in their skeletons. Even humans settled near rivers, valleys, and coasts formed by tectonics. Life is not separate from Earth systems. Life is an expression of those systems. Humans arrived very late in Earth's story, in the last fraction of the planet's timeline. And yet, we depend on every system that came before us. We breathe the air made by ancient oceans. We drink water cycled through clouds for billions of years. We farm soil created by mountains slowly turning to dust. We live on continents shaped by fire and drifting stone. Our homes, cities, cultures, futures, all rest on the thin crust of a living, moving planet. We are guests on Earth's surface, borrowers of its stability, participants in its slow, patient rhythms. Tonight, as you listen, the Earth is holding you. The crust beneath your feet, the air around your body, the magnetic shield protecting your heart from invisible storms, and the long cycle of water that keeps life growing. All of it, every current, every whisper of wind, every shimmer of aurora, comes from the planet's deep interior, from the fire you traveled through in earlier parts of this journey. Earth is not just the ground you walk on. It is a guardian, a sculptor, a living world carrying you through space. In Part 7, we will explore how the Earth systems interact with space, the moon, the sun, and the cosmos beyond. We'll see how tides work, how the night sky affects Earth, and how the planet moves through the universe with quiet grace. For now, let your breath settle into calm. Like waves returning to the shore, we will rise again soon. As we lift our perspective from the oceans, mountains, and forests of Earth, something remarkable happens. The sky thins, the air falls away, and the world beneath us slowly becomes a glowing sphere, blue, white, and breathing. Down there is everything we know, every memory, every story, every heartbeat. But from above, Earth feels delicate, a small world moving through a vast dark ocean of space. Here, the Earth becomes not just a planet, but a traveler. And every traveler has companions. The first companion we meet is the moon. It drifts quietly around our world, a gray, cratered marble floating in the dark. From Earth, the moon seems gentle, but its influence is powerful. It is the stabilizer of our spinning planet. It keeps Earth's axis steady, preventing our seasons from swinging into chaos. Without the moon, the planet could tilt wildly, from 0 degrees to 85 degrees, creating ice ages, super summers, and conditions that would challenge life itself. The moon is Earth's anchor. The moon's pull creates the tides. Twice a day, oceans rise and fall, breathing in and breathing out with the moon's orbit. Tides shape coasts, feed wetlands, and guide countless species, from tiny crustaceans to great migratory whales. And even now, as you listen, the moon is pulling gently on you and everything around you. Tides are the heartbeat between Earth and moon, an ancient rhythm older than the continents themselves. But this relationship is not fixed. The moon drifts away a little each year, about 3-8 centimeters. In the deep future, tides will weaken. A day on Earth will grow longer, and the moon will appear smaller. This slow drifting is part of the cosmic dance, a gentle reminder that nothing in the universe stands still. And now we turn to the sun. It is not silent like the moon. It is fire, plasma, and light, an immense sphere burning at 27 million degrees in its core. Every second, it releases more energy than all human civilization has produced in thousands of years. Yet from Earth, the sun looks calm, a warm circle in the sky. It is the source of every forest, every ocean current, every cloud, every breath we take. Sunlight is Earth's oldest inheritance. The sun does more than give light. It sends out a continuous stream of charged particles, the solar wind. These particles race through space at up to 1,000,000 miles per hour. When they reach Earth, the magnetic field deflects most of them, shielding the surface from radiation. But some particles slip into the poles, crashing into the atmosphere. And when they do, they paint the sky with green, pink, and violet light. The auroras are the sun's signature, a glowing reminder of our star's power. Earth travels around the sun at nearly 30 kilometers per second. At this speed, you move millions of kilometers every day without ever feeling it. Our orbit is nearly a perfect circle, but not quite. That tiny imperfection creates the seasons. When Earth tilts toward the sun, one hemisphere warms. When it tilts away, it cools. This simple tilt creates spring blossoms, summer heat, autumn leaves, and winter snow. The seasons are Earth's slow dance with the sun. But even seasons are only part of the story. Earth's orbit changes over long ages in patterns called Milankovitch cycles. These cycles decide when ice ages begin and when they end. Over tens of thousands of years, the shape of our orbit shifts, the angle of our tilt changes, and the direction we point at the sun wobbles slightly. Earth's long-term climate breathes in and out following these cycles, warm, cold, warm again. Climate is a cosmic rhythm as old as the planet. Everything alive depends on sunlight. Plants turn it into food through photosynthesis, releasing oxygen into the atmosphere. Animals eat the plants. Predators eat the herbivores. And humans rely on every step of this chain. Even the fossil fuels we burn today are ancient sunlight, energy captured by plants hundreds of millions of years ago. Sunlight is life's currency, and every sunrise is a quiet reminder of how fragile and precious that gift is. When we look at Earth, Moon, and Sun together, we find something rare, a balance that allows life to exist and to thrive. The Moon stabilizes the tilt. The Sun provides energy. Earth's magnetic field blocks harmful radiation. The atmosphere holds warmth. Oceans regulate climate. No single system could support life alone, but together they create a harmony, a symphony of cosmic engineering, a delicate balance lasting billions of years. Earth does not just orbit the sun. The entire solar system moves through the Milky Way. Our star travels around the galaxy at 220 kilometers per second. As the sun moves, planets swirl behind it in a spiral, a cosmic flight through interstellar space. Our galaxy rotates, our cluster drifts, the universe expands, and Earth, this small blue world, moves with all of it. You, right now, are traveling through space without even noticing. When seen from far away, Earth is just a point of light, fragile, pale, beautiful. Everything we have ever known exists on that point. And yet, despite its smallness, Earth is not insignificant. It is a world that maintains liquid water, a protective atmosphere, and a magnetic shield, conditions that may be rare in the entire galaxy. Earth is a miracle of balance, and you are part of that miracle. In the next part, we follow Earth into deeper space, past the Moon, past the Sun, into the vast architecture of the Milky Way. But for now, breathe softly. Feel the stillness. Know that you are carried through the universe by a planet perfectly suited for life. Earth holds you, the cosmos surrounds you, and the journey it is far from over. As we drift farther from Earth, past its soft blue glow and the orbit of the moon, the solar system begins to look small, a tiny island of light surrounded by a vast, silent sea. The planets fall into alignment beneath you, their orbits forming luminous rings that fade into the dark. The sun becomes a star bright, yes, but merely one point in a sky filled with billions. And slowly, as distance grows, a new structure begins to appear. At first it looks like mist, then a cloud, then a river of silver light spread across the darkness. This is our home galaxy, the Milky Way, a colossal spiral stretching 100,000 light-years across, turning ever so slowly like a wheel of glowing dust. We live inside this great structure, so deep within it that for most of human history, we didn't realize we were part of something so immense. But from this vantage point, you can see everything. Billions of stars woven into swirling arms, interlaced with dark lanes of cosmic dust and glowing nebulae where stars are born. Galaxies do not shine with one light but with countless lights. A silent chorus of stars, each burning with its own story. And tonight you drift through that light. Your journey continues toward the star nurseries, the places in the galaxy where new suns begin. In the distance, a cloud of gas and dust glows faintly, pink, blue, violet. A nebula, a stellar womb. Nebulae form when massive stars explode or when clouds of hydrogen collapse under their own weight. Some stretch across dozens of light-years. Some could swallow entire solar systems. And within them, gravity begins its slow work. A tiny ripple forms. A small clump grows denser. Gas collapses inward over millions of years. Temperature rises. Pressure builds. And suddenly, ignition. A newborn star bursts into light. Every star you see in the night sky began in a place like this, cradled in darkness, held by gravity, waiting for the moment when nuclear fire would awaken at its core. And around these young stars, disks of dust and ice swirl and collide, forming worlds. Worlds of rock, worlds of gas, worlds of ice, worlds unlike anything we have ever imagined. Planets are not rare. They are the natural children of stars. Perhaps billions of them dot this galaxy. And among them, there may be other Earths, quiet, distant, waiting for someone to look their way. But stars do not stay young forever. As you drift through the Milky Way, you pass stars of every age. Blue giants burning hot and fast, red dwarfs glowing softly for trillions of years, and yellow suns much like our own. And like all living things, stars have life cycles. The smallest stars burn slowly, their light steady and calm. They can live longer than the universe has existed so far. But the largest stars, the brilliant blue ones, burn fiercely, consuming their fuel at unimaginable speed. Their lives are short but spectacular. When their fuel runs out, the core collapses, gravity overwhelms light, and the star explodes in a supernova, a cosmic detonation brighter than an entire galaxy. In that instant, the universe is rewritten. Elements heavier than iron are forged in the explosion: gold, silver, iodine, uranium, and everything in between. These elements fly outward into space, becoming part of nebulae, planets, and eventually the atoms of living beings. You are literally made from the remnants of ancient stars. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the carbon in your cells, all forged in the heart of a star that died long before Earth existed. To know this is to feel the deep connection between your body and the universe. You are not separate. You are not distant. You are cosmic. But the story does not end there. Some stars, after collapsing, form neutron stars, objects so dense that a teaspoon of them would weigh 1 billion tons. Others collapse even further, forming black holes. Regions of space where gravity becomes so extreme that nothing, not even light, can escape. Black holes are not empty. They are not holes in space. They are concentrations of pure gravity, the final echo of a star's life. And yet, despite their darkness, they shape galaxies. At the center of the Milky Way lies a supermassive black hole 4 million times the mass of the Sun. It does not destroy the galaxy. It anchors it. Just as the Moon stabilizes Earth, this immense gravitational heart helps organize the swirling structure of the Milky Way. Galaxies themselves come in many forms: spirals like ours, ellipticals shaped like cosmic eggs, and irregular galaxies twisted by collisions. Because galaxies do collide. They merge. They reshape each other. They tear apart stars and create new waves of formation. In 4 billion years, the Milky Way will collide with Andromeda, a massive galaxy heading toward us right now at 110 kilometers per second. The collision will not destroy stars, because the distances between them are enormous, but gravity will warp both galaxies into a new, larger structure. Galaxies are not static. They grow, evolve, and drift through the universe. And all of this, every star, every nebula, every black hole, exists inside a single galaxy. Beyond the Milky Way, there are billions more. The universe is not made of stars. It is made of galaxies, each one a floating island of light in an ever-expanding sea. And as you drift here, among these cosmic structures, you begin to understand how small yet extraordinary our place is. Earth is one planet of 8 around one star among 400 billion in one galaxy among billions more. And yet, despite the immensity, you are here, aware, listening, breathing. Consciousness is the universe becoming aware of itself. Maybe that is why the night sky feels so familiar, because the atoms inside you have seen it before, long before you were born. They were there when stars ignited, when galaxies formed, when the first elements were created in the early universe. Tonight, as you float gently between the stars, you carry that history within you. And the Milky Way, with its spiraling arms, glowing nebulae and ancient starlight, feels less like a distant place and more like a memory of where you came from, and perhaps where you are going. This journey through the galaxy is not an escape from Earth. It is a return to your origins, a reminder that you belong to something vast and ancient and beautiful. And as you glide deeper into the Milky Way, you are carried not by spacecraft or technology, but by imagination, a force older than language, older than civilization, older than humanity. The night sky, it is your inheritance. The stars are your ancestors, and the galaxy is your home. As you drift farther from the Milky Way, the galaxy begins to shrink. Its once colossal spiral arms, those shimmering rivers of stars, now curve into a delicate swirl of light. The bright core dims. The outer edges fade like breath on glass. Soon, the entire galaxy fits into the palm of your imagination. A single luminous island floating in a vast, black sea. And you realize that even something 100,000 light-years wide can look small when seen from far enough away. But the universe does not end here, not even close, because beyond the Milky Way lies a realm of unimaginable scale. You begin to see other galaxies, first as faint smudges, then as glowing spirals, elliptical orbs, and fractured shapes twisted by ancient collisions. They are everywhere, each one holding hundreds of billions of stars. each one alive with its own clouds, its own black holes, its own worlds. The Milky Way is not alone. It is one member of a family, a gravitational tribe called the Local Group. This group contains more than 50 galaxies, large and small, bound together by the invisible threads of gravity. Near us is Andromeda, a majestic spiral twice the size of our own. Its arms stretch outward like wings of starlight. It drifts toward the Milky Way in slow silence, a meeting set to unfold for billion years from now. Around these giants float dwarf galaxies, irregular, faint, shaped by tides of gravity and the pull of unseen forces. And this entire group, the Milky Way, Andromeda, the Magellanic Clouds, and all the tiny satellite galaxies, moves together through the cosmic sea. But the universe expands with no edge. So you drift farther, and suddenly the Local Group itself shrinks just as the Milky Way did. You see an even larger structure, the Virgo supercluster, a vast gathering of galaxy groups and clusters stretching 110 million light-years across. Cluster after cluster glows like cities in the dark, each one containing thousands of galaxies, each galaxy holding billions of stars. If the Milky Way is a single home and the Local Group a neighborhood, then the Virgo supercluster is a continent. And the universe is made of many such continents. But the scale does not end there, for the superclusters themselves are not scattered randomly. They form patterns. As you ascend into an even broader perspective, you see the universe begin to reveal its true structure. Galaxies cluster into filaments. Filaments connect into walls. Walls spread out like cosmic scaffolding. And between them, vast voids so large that entire superclusters could drift through without touching anything. The universe is not evenly filled. It is a web, a cosmic web stretching across hundreds of millions of light-years, shaped by gravity and something else, something invisible. The strands glow with the light of galaxies, but the space between them is sculpted by matter we cannot see. Dark matter. It forms the structure of the universe, shaping where galaxies gather, where they merge, where they grow. Dark matter does not shine, does not absorb light, does not interact with the electromagnetic spectrum in any way we can detect. We cannot see it, but we see its pull. Just like wind shaping sand dunes, dark matter shapes the cosmos. Without it, the universe would be a diffuse fog, no galaxies, no stars, no planets. Dark matter is the skeleton of the cosmos. And yet, even dark matter does not tell the full story, because something else is happening. As you drift through the cosmic web, you notice the filaments are stretching. Superclusters move away from each other. Distance itself grows. The universe is expanding. Not because galaxies are traveling through space, but because space is creating more of itself. And this expansion is accelerating. The farther away something is, the faster it recedes. Why? Scientists call the cause dark energy, a mysterious force that makes up nearly 70% of the universe. We do not know what it is. We only see what it does. It pushes the cosmos apart, faster and faster, stretching the fabric of reality like an inflating balloon. In the distant future, galaxies beyond our Local Group will fade from view, their light unable to reach us anymore. Even the Virgo supercluster will drift beyond the horizon of visibility. The universe is not just expanding, it is drifting toward solitude. But for now, the cosmos remains bright, a tapestry of galaxies woven across space-time. And from your vantage point, you can see how everything connects. The Milky Way, once gigantic, now sits as one spark among billions. The Local Group is one thread in a vast cosmic tapestry. The Virgo supercluster is one patch in a quilt of unimaginable scale, and all of it is part of the cosmic web, a structure so immense that the human mind struggles to contain it. And yet, you are here, floating within it, made of the same elements that fill its stars. You are not outside this universe. You are woven into it. The atoms in your hands were forged in ancient stars. The carbon in your breath was shaped by supernovae. The iron in your blood once belonged to the heart of a sun. You are made of stardust, held together by the same forces that shape galaxies. And as you drift through the cosmic web, you begin to sense a deeper truth. The universe is not empty. It is full of structure, full of motion, full of mystery. And somewhere, hidden in the expansion, in the dance of matter and energy, in the flicker of starlight, there is meaning. Not written in words, but in patterns. Not spoken aloud, but felt. You sense it in the rhythm of galaxies, in the quiet pull of dark matter, in the accelerating breath of dark energy. You sense it in the delicate balance that allowed stars to form, worlds to cool, life to rise. You sense it in the way your own consciousness reflects the universe. Fragile yet luminous, finite yet vast. Tonight, as you drift through superclusters and filaments of light, you are witnessing the largest structures ever known. But you are also witnessing something intimate, the universe looking back at itself through you. Because in this moment, your awareness is as much a part of the cosmos as any star. And the story of the universe is not only written in galaxies and nebulae. It is written in minds that wonder, in hearts that feel, in quiet moments like this one. The cosmos is not distant. It is within you, everywhere, always, and the journey it is still unfolding. As you drift deeper into the cosmic web, you come to realize something profound. Everything you see has not always been here. The galaxies, the clusters, the filaments stretching like glowing threads across the universe. All of it had a beginning. To understand that beginning, you must go back farther than any star, farther than any galaxy, farther even than light itself. You must return to a time before time, when the universe was young, so young that it had no stars, no planets, no atoms, no form. Only energy, only heat, only potential. And from that potential, everything you know was born. Close your eyes and let the universe rewind. Galaxies unspool. Stars collapse backward into dust. Light folds into darkness. Space grows smaller, tighter, hotter, until all of existence contracts into something no larger than a grain of sand. A point, a singularity, the seed of everything, and then a moment so powerful that it becomes the first moment. The universe expands, not like a fireball, but like space itself unfolding, stretching, growing from the inside out. This is the Big Bang, not an explosion, but an emergence. A beginning written in the language of physics. In the first instant, temperatures soared to unimaginable heights. Energy condensed into particles. Particles collided to form matter, protons, neutrons, electrons, the building blocks of everything to come. The universe was a storm of creation. Hot, dense, violent, but also precise, structured, mathematically elegant. Just minutes after the beginning, the first atomic nuclei formed: hydrogen, helium, and traces of lithium. The universe was still dark, still young, still waiting. Hundreds of thousands of years passed as the universe expanded and cooled. Electrons slowed and paired with nuclei, forming the first true atoms. For the first time, the universe became transparent. Light, trapped for so long, now traveled freely through space. That ancient light still moves through the cosmos today, a faint glow called the cosmic microwave background. It is the oldest photograph of the universe, a baby picture of everything. But even after the light emerged, there were no stars, only darkness, a quiet so complete that even time felt still. This was the cosmic dark age, a period lasting millions of years. Hydrogen clouds drifted through the expanding space, waiting for gravity to take hold. Little by little, gravity pulled matter together. Tiny ripples grew into dense knots. Clouds collapsed, and at last, after 100 million years, the first stars ignited. They were giants, massive, hotter than any star that exists today. Their light ended the darkness. Their cores forged the first heavy elements. These first stars lived fast and died young, exploding in supernovae that seeded the cosmos with carbon, oxygen, iron, the ingredients for planets, oceans, life. From that moment forward, the universe changed. Galaxies formed, star clusters grew, black holes emerged, and slowly, over billions of years, the universe became the intricate structure you drift through now. But if the universe had a beginning, it must also have a future. A long future, one we can glimpse by watching how the cosmos grows today. The expansion of the universe is speeding up, driven by dark energy, that mysterious force pushing space outward. Galaxies move away from one another. Clusters drift apart. The cosmic web stretches like silk pulled taut. And as dark energy grows, the night sky will change. Far in the future, only the galaxies of our local group will remain visible. Everything else will fade beyond the horizon, too distant for their light to ever reach us again. The universe will become lonelier. Stars will age and die. New star formation will decline as galaxies run out of gas. Billions of years later, the bright galaxies of today will dim. Their stars will cool into white dwarfs, then black dwarfs, cold spheres lit only by memory. Even black holes will evaporate over unimaginable timescales, leaking energy slowly into the void until nothing remains. The universe will not end in fire. It will end in quiet, in cold, in darkness, in stillness. But this ending is not a tragedy. It is simply a continuation, a recognition that everything that exists was once light and will become light again. And somewhere within this cosmic cycle, you exist. Your life is a brief spark in an ancient universe, a moment where consciousness looks back at the stars that created it. And that moment matters, because the universe spent 8 billion years crafting the elements, the chemistry, the structures that would allow a being like you to look up and wonder. You are the universe becoming aware of itself, a fragile, luminous expression of cosmic history. You come from stars that lived and died before Earth formed. You breathe air made by ancient oceans. You walk on continents fused in the hearts of supernovae. And even when the galaxies fade, when the stars go dark, when the universe grows quiet, your existence remains part of its story. A contribution written in light, memory, and time. You are small but not insignificant, finite but part of infinity, a temporary being born from eternal processes. And as you drift through the quiet expanse, you can feel the truth in every breath, that the universe is far larger than we can imagine. And yet, somehow it feels like home. As the galaxies grow faint and the darkness of the far future begins to settle, you might feel as though you've reached the edge of everything. But the universe has no edge, and the story is far from finished. Once you leave behind the familiar web of galaxies, the clusters, the filaments, the glowing spirals, you step into a deeper mystery. The mystery of whether our universe is the only one. Even now, physicists suspect that the cosmos you know, with its stars, its planets, its laws of physics, may be just a single bubble in a vast cosmic ocean. Space, at the largest scales, might repeat over and over in endless variations. Some universes expand faster, some expand slower, some collapse quickly into darkness, others never form stars at all, and some, rare and precious, are stable enough to make life possible. In this view, our universe is not the center of existence. It is one chapter in a library with infinite pages. But to glimpse those pages, we must understand something deeper, that the laws of nature may not be the same everywhere. Some universes could have stronger gravity, weaker electromagnetism, different particles, or no familiar atoms at all. In such a realm, the physics that shaped your life, that forged carbon in stars, that carried light across the cosmos, that made oceans, mountains, and breath would not exist. And yet you remain here, in this universe, in this small, habitable corner of an unfathomable multiverse. There is meaning in that placement. To understand the possibilities beyond, you must rise beyond the dimensions you're familiar with. Your world feels three-dimensional. Length, width, height. You move forward and backward, left and right, up and down. But modern physics suggests there may be more directions than you can perceive. Like a page in a book that cannot see the chapters above or below it, your senses are limited to the space you evolved within. String theory proposes extra dimensions curled up so tightly that even light cannot slip through them. If you could unfold them, let every hidden dimension stretch open, the universe would look nothing like you expect. Space itself could twist. Particles could pass through directions your brain cannot imagine. Gravity could leak into unseen realms. And the cosmos would be revealed not as a simple expanse, but as a structure with depth you never noticed. Higher dimensions do not make the universe bigger. They make it richer, more intricate, more complete. And if higher dimensions exist, then reality may be layered, not a single sheet, but a stack of coexisting worlds. Some physicists call them brains, vast, higher dimensional surfaces floating in an even larger space. If two brains collide, they could ignite something like a Big Bang. If they drift apart, they may create separate universes that never touch. In this picture, our universe is not alone. It is one surface among many, drifting like a ship in an ocean deeper than imagination. And still, the mystery goes further. Beyond the structure of space lies the structure of time. You experience time as a river, always flowing forward, never backward. But at the deepest level, physics does not require a forward direction. Time may be an illusion created by the way your mind tracks change. Every moment, your past, your present, your future, may exist simultaneously, layered like pages in a cosmic book. You travel through that book one page at a time, believing that the world only exists on the page you are reading. But the entire story is already written. If time is a dimension, then the universe is a sculpture, not evolving but complete. You are simply moving through it. And if that is true, then every breath you take, every moment of your life, every possibility you might have lived, exists somewhere within that timeless structure. Nothing is lost. Nothing is erased. Moments do not vanish. They simply wait. But while time may be fixed, your perception is not. Consciousness carves a path through the timeless universe, turning stillness into experience, turning potential into memory. You, in this sense, are the arrow of time, a flame that moves through the darkness, lighting the way. And beyond your flame lies the future of all things, a future where stars die out, galaxies drift apart, and the night grows colder. A future where even black holes fade into nothing. A future where space becomes thin. So thin that nothing remains but low-energy particles wandering through a silent void. But even this may not be the end. Quantum physics allows fluctuations even in perfect emptiness. From those fluctuations, tiny pockets of energy can appear. Most vanish immediately, some expand, and a few, rare beyond imagination, could ignite a new universe. A new beginning, a new story, a new canvas where stars will form, light will return, and life, in some form, will rise again. In this way, the universe is not a single event. It is a cycle, a continuum, a breath drawn across eternity. Every universe is a spark from something deeper, something still unseen. And whatever that deeper reality is, you are connected to it not by scale but by origin. The particles that make your body were born in the first seconds of existence. Your atoms carry the memory of the universe's beginning. And your consciousness, the quiet awareness drifting through this story, is the universe looking back at itself. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are woven into it with the same threads that bind galaxies. And that is why even the infinite does not feel distant. Feels intimate, familiar, like a truth you've always known. The universe is vast, far beyond stars, far beyond galaxies, far beyond time and dimension. But your existence within it is not accidental. It is the result of 8 billion years of cosmic evolution, of stars that lived and died, of galaxies that collided, of atoms forged in fire, of time stretching and bending until a being appeared who could whisper back to the stars. You, a moment of awareness within eternity, a fragile voice in an ocean of silence, but a real voice, a necessary voice, and somewhere within a multiverse of endless possibilities, there may be countless versions of you. Some similar, some different, some living lives you will never know. But this version, the one sitting here now, breathing softly, listening to the universe unfold, is uniquely yours. A timeline among infinite timelines. A consciousness among infinite possibilities. A point of light in a universe that still holds more mysteries than stars. And perhaps that is the most beautiful truth of all. The universe is infinite, but so are you. As the universe grows larger in your imagination, and the galaxies fade into a distant haze, your awareness slowly returns to the place where your entire story began, Earth. After traveling across nebulae, stellar nurseries, black holes, and cosmic webs, it becomes clear that the most extraordinary phenomenon is not found in the largest structures of the universe, but in the smallest, a living world. For billions of years, Earth has moved quietly through space, carrying oceans, forests, mountains, and the fragile chemistry of life. Nothing about this was guaranteed. Life required conditions that were not just rare, but exquisitely balanced. The planet needed liquid water, but not too much heat. A protective atmosphere, but not too thick. A magnetic field, but not too weak. Continents that recycled carbon. Volcanoes that fed the air. Oceans that regulated temperature. And a sun that remained stable for billions of years. Earth is not simply a rock. It is a system, a network of processes that support one another in a delicate equilibrium. In its earliest days, the planet was molten and hostile. Yet as it cooled, water condensed, clouds formed, and oceans appeared, setting the stage for something entirely new, life. At first, it arrived in forms too small to see. Microbes learned to feed on minerals, to turn sunlight into energy, and eventually to release oxygen into the atmosphere. That oxygen transformed the planet, created a sky that could burn. It allowed complex cells to evolve. And from those cells came every creature you know. Trees, insects, mammals, whales, birds, and finally humans. Life on Earth was not a straight line. It was shaped by catastrophes, ice ages, volcanic winters, meteor strikes that reset entire ecosystems. Yet each time life recovered, it adapted, it diversified, it built new forms from the remains of the old. And through this long, fragile process, life eventually reached something no other planet has confirmed: consciousness. A brain capable of asking questions about its own existence. Eyes capable of seeing starlight that began its journey before humans existed. Minds capable of imagining worlds beyond their own. Took Earth 5 billion years to produce a species able to look back at the universe and understand, even slightly, how it works. Your awareness is part of that history. Every thought you have is powered by chemical reactions that evolved to help ancient organisms survive. Every memory is a pattern of atoms shaped by forces as old as stars. Every emotion is an echo of instincts that have traveled through time longer than any civilization. You are the surface of Earth becoming aware of itself. When you contemplate the oceans, the mountains, the night sky, you are the Earth observing the universe through a window of consciousness that did not exist until very recently. And yet, life is temporary. Species rise and vanish. Continents shift. Climates change. Stars age. Earth will not remain habitable forever. One day, far in the future, the sun will swell, oceans will evaporate, and the planet that nurtured life will become unrecognizable. But that does not make life meaningless. It makes it extraordinary. The universe is filled with stars that never hosted life, planets that remained barren, and galaxies that will never know consciousness. Earth is one of the rare places where chemistry learned to think, where atoms learned to appreciate beauty, where molecules gained the ability to feel love, memory, curiosity, fear, hope. Human awareness is not separate from the universe. It is a continuation of it, the universe folding inward, trying to understand itself through the mind of a living being. And perhaps that is the most profound truth of your journey. You are not an observer standing outside the cosmos. You are an expression of it, a momentary shape that matter has taken in its long evolution. You are built from hydrogen born in the Big Bang, carbon forged in ancient stars, iron formed in supernovae, and water older than the sun. Your body's atoms have been many things: dust, stone, air, ocean, before becoming you. And one day they will become part of something else again. But your consciousness, your inner world of thoughts and feelings, is a phenomenon that has never happened before in this exact way and will never happen again in exactly the same form. You are unique because your pattern of experiences exists only once in the entire history of the universe. In the story of Earth, you are a brief chapter. In the story of the universe, you are a spark of awareness illuminating the darkness for a fleeting moment. But that moment matters. It matters because the universe spent billions of years preparing the conditions for awareness to emerge. It matters because consciousness is rare, delicate, precious. And it matters because the act of understanding, the simple decision to look up and wonder, is itself a form of cosmic significance. You are small but not insignificant, finite but meaningful, brief but luminous. And now, as the journey through time and space comes gently to its end, you return to the place that has carried you through it all, Earth, the only home life has ever known. A world that breathes through forests, sings through oceans, shapes mountains from stone, and creates consciousness from atoms. A world that continues to evolve with or without witnesses. A world that holds you as gently as space holds the stars. In the silence of this moment, you can feel that you belong here, not by accident but by inheritance. You are part of Earth's story, part of life's story, part of the universe's story, and the story is still unfolding. Now, as this long journey through the universe gently comes to a close, you return to a kind of quiet that feels familiar. A quiet that lives inside your own breath. The galaxies you passed are still spinning in the dark. The stars you visited are still burning thousands of light years away. And Earth, your small, fragile home, is still turning softly beneath your feet. Nothing in the universe is ever truly still. But in this moment you can be. Take one slow breath, soft, and just a little deeper. You are no longer drifting through galaxy clusters, no longer standing at the edge of space-time, no longer wandering through the hidden layers of physics we have only begun to understand. You are here, in your body, in this room, on this planet, and yet you are not the same person who started this journey. You carry with you the traces of everything you have traveled through. When you close your eyes, the universe remains, resting quietly behind your eyelids like an ocean of stillness filled with distant stars. The atoms that make you once lived in the cores of ancient suns. The oxygen you breathe once drifted through oceans millions of years ago. And your heartbeat follows rhythms older than all of humanity. You are not separate from this universe. You are an extension of it. Let that thought drift through you like a small ripple, light, effortless, asking for nothing, just passing as you breathe. Along this journey, you have watched stars being born and dying. You have moved through nebulae broader than solar systems. You have witnessed the silence of black holes and the softness of the first light. But the most important part is much simpler. You are still here. And the universe becomes just a little more meaningful because you are here to witness it. You do not need to understand everything. You do not need to solve every question. You do not need to hold all the answers. You only need to know that you exist in a moment within a universe that is vast and always changing. A moment long enough to breathe, to feel, and to let your heart slow down. Let your body grow heavier, as if the earth is holding you gently with its own gravity. Let the tension melt away with each exhale. Let your mind settle like a sky after a long storm. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to go, nothing you must prove. In this moment, you are enough. The universe will keep moving. Galaxies will keep drifting past one another. Stars will continue being born, and time will continue flowing like a river without end. But you, right now, only need to rest. If your eyes begin to feel heavy, let them close. If your breath grows deeper and slower, let that rhythm guide you. If your body sinks gently into where you lie, let the earth hold you a little more. You are safe. You are supported. You are surrounded by a universe that is vast but extraordinarily gentle. Today you have traveled so far, far beyond the night sky, far beyond the constellations, far beyond the history of yourself. And now, it is time to return. Slowly, softly, without any rush. Let your awareness become a quiet ship sailing back to harbor. No sound, no impact, no pressure. Just a smooth return, light and calming, like moonlight on a still lake. If sleep is calling you, let it come. If your mind is falling quiet, let it rest. If your heart feels lighter, hold that feeling for a moment. You have listened to the story of the universe. Now let the universe rock you gently to sleep. May your rest be deep. May your mind be light. May your heart be peaceful. And when you wake, the universe will still be here, waiting for you to continue the journey. As the journey returns to its final moments, the universe around you settles back into its natural quiet. There are no bright nebulae now, no whispers of ancient starlight, only a vast, expanding space unfolding slowly into an endless dark. The universe has always been this silent. It is not loud, not hurried, not trying to impress. It simply exists steady, precise, and patient. When you look back at the journey, one truth becomes clear. Everything in the universe moves by the same set of principles, from the smallest particles to the largest galaxies. Stars are born when clouds of gas collapse. They fade when their fuel runs out. Galaxies merge when gravity draws them together. Space expands as dark energy dominates. And through all these processes, Earth, a small world in a dim corner of the Milky Way, somehow became a place where life could appear and finally where consciousness could rise. That was never guaranteed. It was rare, delicately timed, painfully precise. When you observe the universe from afar, everything seems simple. Birth, existence, change, and disappearance. But look closer, and the details show a fragile order that is hard to dismiss as a coincidence. The balance between gravity and pressure, the stability of the Sun-Earth's position in the habitable zone, the magnetic field that shields the atmosphere. Water exists in all three states. The carbon cycle regulates the climate over millions of years. All of it is working together to create a place where life not only survives, but evolves. And across billions of years, that evolution has led to something even rarer than life itself: awareness. A mind capable of asking how the universe began. Eyes are able to see starlight older than the human species. A brain able to think beyond instinct, to wonder, to imagine. You are part of that improbable chain. You are not watching the universe from the outside. You are a direct outcome of its oldest laws. Every breath you take contains molecules that were once part of ancient oceans, mountains, and stars. Every bit of your body is made from elements forged in cosmic furnaces long before Earth existed. The universe spent 13.8 billion years building the conditions that would allow you to understand even a small piece of it. And even if your time is brief compared to the scale of the cosmos, it is not meaningless. It is a sign that the universe is capable not only of creating matter, but of creating meaning. Now, as your awareness returns to the present, to your breath, your heartbeat, the gentle spin of Earth beneath you, hold on to one quiet truth. You belong here, not by accident, but by inheritance. You are part of Earth's story, part of life's story, part of the universe's story, and the story is still unfolding. Close your eyes. Let your mind ease. Let the Earth hold you in its quiet. Sleep deeply, rest softly, and when you wake, the universe will still be here, waiting for you to take the next step. When we think about the future of Earth, it's easy to imagine sudden changes, dramatic shifts, or endings filled with fear. But the real story of Earth's future is far quieter. The planet changes slowly, on scales far beyond a single lifetime, far beyond nations, far beyond human history itself. Earth has evolved for billions of years and will continue evolving long after tonight becomes tomorrow. Let's drift forward through the gentle future of our world. Over the next few centuries, the continents will keep moving, just centimeters each year, as they always have. Coastlines will shift. Mountains will rise. Old oceans will fade while new seas quietly appear. Life will keep adapting, just as it always has, slowly, steadily, with remarkable resilience. In a few million years, Africa may drift northward until it touches Europe, closing the Mediterranean Sea and forming a new mountain range. Australia may move closer to Asia, transforming the shapes of coasts and islands. Forests will migrate as climates shift. New species will emerge while others complete their natural cycles. The Earth has always been a place of renewal, and far beneath your feet, the mantle will continue its slow breathing, heat rising, plates drifting, volcanoes forming and cooling. The same rhythm that has shaped the planet since its beginning. Millions of years later, the continents may join again into a supercontinent, just as they once formed Pangaea. Ocean currents will change. Wind patterns will shift. But life, in whatever forms exist then, will adapt to the planet's new shape. Earth's future is not a story of destruction. It is a story of transformation. And even further ahead, hundreds of millions of years from now, the sun will grow gradually brighter. Not suddenly, not violently, but slowly, as all stars do when they age. Earth will adjust. Clouds may thicken. Weather patterns may evolve. The oceans may change their balance of warmth and cold. But these changes will unfold on timescales so vast that no creature alive today can truly grasp their length. The sun will continue shining for billions of years more, long enough for life to explore possibilities we cannot yet imagine, long enough for evolution to write new stories on this world. And when the very distant future arrives, when the sun becomes too bright, Earth may gently shift out of the habitable zone. Oceans may thin. Atmospheres may change. But remember this, every star changes. Every planet evolves. Every world follows its own path through time. Nothing today is final. Nothing today is the end. Earth is not fragile. It is dynamic. It is ancient. It is patient. And even as the universe expands, even as galaxies drift farther apart, even as time stretches forward, this planet will continue its long journey, turning, renewing, evolving. The gentle future of Earth is not something to fear. It is a continuation of everything the planet has always done. A slow, natural unfolding of geology, climate, and life. You are living in one small chapter of a story far older and far longer than humanity. And in this moment, in this breath, you get to witness it. Earth's future is a quiet promise that change is natural, that transformation is constant, and that the universe takes its time. Tonight, you traveled through the layers of Earth, from the thin crust beneath your feet to the mantle's slow rivers of heat, down into the molten outer core and the solid inner core that powers our magnetic field. You explored tectonic plates that reshape continents, volcanoes that build new land, and earthquakes that mark the planet's constant motion. You moved through Earth's water systems, its oceans, underground aquifers, and the cycles that sustain life. You met the moon, the anchor that stabilizes Earth's tilt and creates the tides, and the sun, the star whose energy drives every breath, every ocean current, every living thing. Then you stepped beyond our world, into the Milky Way, through star nurseries and dying suns, through nebulae, clusters, and the dark matter that holds our galaxy together. You learned how stars forge the elements, how galaxies form and drift, and how the universe continues expanding into a future larger than anything we can imagine. Through all of this, one truth remains simple. Earth is a rare balance: liquid water, a stable sun, a protective magnetic field, and a moon that keeps the planet steady. Together, they created the conditions for life and eventually for consciousness. And consciousness makes the universe aware of itself. Everything you are comes from stars. Everything you experience is shaped by cosmic forces billions of years in the making. You are part of Earth. Earth is part of the universe, and the universe continues, quietly, patiently, carrying you with it through the dark.